Modern Warfare 2's beta is going to be ending today by the time you see this. And I kind of wanted to go over the positives and the negatives and how the beta has really been perceived by both me and by generally what people of the player base have been telling me over the last 2 weekends of playing the game. We are dropping into a round of invasion, so we're going to be sniping some while we talk about it. So, I want to cover 3 basic things from the beta. First, the first weekend where we were just on PlayStation. Second, the second weekend, obviously, where we're here on everything. And then third, I want to kind of go over a lot of the pros and cons of all of the things that we went through and what I think the game is going to pretty much end up being by the time it comes out. So, first off, the first weekend on PlayStation, I played on the PS4 with a PS4 controller, and that wasn't like a PS4 Pro or anything like that. No additional hardware. It was literally just a day one PS4, literally day one. It's the one I walked out of GameStop with, and a 1-year-old controller from PS4 at the same, or for the PS4 at the same time. No back buttons, no special, paddles or anything like that. No trigger stops. All just straight up, day one hardware. So, for the day one hardware, the game played pretty dang good. I was not upset with it at all, as the game felt clean, it moved clean. Even on old hardware, it didn't feel laggy or stuttery other than when the servers did. That's a whole nother thing. And overall, I would say the game felt really pretty good for an old console. Then we moved over into the second weekend where we got access to it on all platforms. I jumped over onto my extremely overpriced hardware setup that I've been only lucky enough to afford because this is my job. And so I am now playing on what would have been, 4 or 5 PS4s worth of hardware. And playing it on PC definitely feels really nice. The controls on keyboard and mouse are just as smooth as what are the controls for PS4, which was kind of surprising to me. A lot of people talked about how the game just really felt better on controller from the event, and a lot of people talked about how controller was going to be dominating for the entire release of Warzone 2 and Modern Warfare 2, and how everybody was going to swap over to controller because they just wanted to have that tactical advantage for when it first started. And to be completely honest with you, I have not felt at one point disadvantaged against controller players. Now, with that being said, I have been playing also on 150 ping servers, and so when I felt disadvantaged, it was mostly because people were shooting me before I even came around the corner on my side because I decided to play with my friends in Europe. Okay, so that's 2 betas down. Both betas felt great, and at no point did I feel like that I was at a complete disadvantage because I was on the PS4, nor did I feel like I was at a disadvantage for being on keyboard and mouse. So overall, good start, right? With that being said, now let's talk about how the game feels and how I think the game is going to change as the game is released. So, right now, for me, again, this is for me. I'm not telling you that, this has to be how you feel about it. But for me, the gameplay feels like the TTK is a bit too damn fast. The game itself features just a gigantic number of one-shot weapons. One-shot headshot weapons for the regular multiplayer. Now, granted, that will be not the same for when Warzone comes out because only the sniper should, at that point, be one-shot headshot weapons. So, right now we have access to the FTAC Recon, the Lackman 762, the LMS. I hit my... Oh, that's somebody else's. Good. I'm glad somebody else's. The LMS and the MK2 and the Signal 50, and that is essentially enough. About 1/3 of the weapons can one-shot headshot you in the base game, and then on top of that, all of the damage of all the weapons is all disgustingly fast. So as much as I would like to say that the time to kill feels good, honestly, to me, it feels really, really fast. It's feeling to me about 200, 250 milliseconds, as low as probably like 175 milliseconds if you're using something like the Vector or the Hurricane and or the MP5 and you land any headshots. And that's kind of a level of really high that I'm not comfortable saying that it's healthy. The mode is already removed, or the game has already removed red dots on the minimap for firing your weapons. So when you remove red dots, which means there's no longer a punishment for firing your weapon without a suppressor, and you give everybody pretty much near instant TTK, you run into the issue of where more like that was one set of headshot right there. Insanely fast. People are no longer going to want to move around because if you die instantly and there is no punishment for firing unsuppressed, people are going to, one, run the lowest recoil things they can so they can always land the shots, and then two, they're going to attempt to not move, because if people die instantly around the corner, all you have to have is first shot. So for me, I would like to see the TTK extended. Not a lot, 30% maybe, just enough so that way when I start getting shot by that one guy, I at least know it before I'm down. It doesn't have to be, like I said, it doesn't have to be massively longer, but a little bit longer would be really nice for me. Obviously, you know, some people really love the faster time to kill and would like that to stay. Obviously, there's things like sniper rifles that down you instantly, so you have to balance against that. And sniping has always been massive in the game, so maybe they're looking to try to balance versus sniping without completely ruining sniping. Because if you let sniping be instant, but everything else is too long, then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, people have no reason to do anything other than snipe. That's a AI. This is not, though. So I can understand why they may not be wanting to extend it too much. And then they talk about how they don't want to have people be punished for running unsuppressed weaponry. And again, I can see where they're coming from with that. They want people to be able to run whatever they want without having to worry about having to always have a suppressor. And I know that that's going to be a system that's going to be transferring over into Warzone, which means it's also going to be transferring over into DMZ, which then leads us to the next point. The entire game feels like it was designed in idea of being exactly the same across Warzone, DMZ, and the multiplayer. And let's talk about why that's good and why that's bad. So, that level of balance across all the modes means no matter who picks it up, they can start playing those modes and they will be familiar with the way the guns work, the time to kill for the guns, and the overall enjoyment level of the game. Because if they are familiar with all of that, they will not have to relearn the game every time they try to pick it up. When someone coming over from Call of Duty 2019 over into Warzone 1, it's like learning a whole new game. But if the time to kill stays similar, if the overall mechanics stay similar, if there's no red dots on the map on both of them all the time, then they have completely and ultimately leveled the playing field for anybody learning to play any mode. And that's awesome. That's a great way to do it. It's a great way to treat the game, as it allows you to allow people to enjoy the game how they want to across all the modes. I will always encourage gamers to always find a way to enjoy whatever version of the game that they want to play however they want to. The downside of that is without unique mechanics across each of the individual ones, they all slightly lose a bit of their identity. So when you end up encouraging camping around corners and you discourage tactical gameplay in the regular multiplayer, you just further alienate the original players of the game, which a lot of Call of Duty started as a lot of, it's very arcadey, run and gun, jump and shoot, slide and smash, and dolphin dive on a few of them and stuff like that. But when you remove a lot of the movement mechanics, and then remove the punishment of firing, and then remove the requirement of suppressors, and then remove the time to kill, basically to make it almost instant, you're going to pretty much always create a game where it now becomes camping warfare, and it's gonna make a lot of people less excited about it. So if I foresee anything becoming a problem in the game, it's gonna be primarily the lack of reasoning for being aggressive in the title. Again, I've been playing for 2 weekends now. The maps are fun. The game is hard, so there is some levels of skill expression in it, as I've been enjoying it. I'm hoping that they've increased the server tick rate, because I think that's very important, especially when it comes over to the Warzone side of things again, as I would love to see the game have a lot of reliable hit registration and less issues with hit registration being off. Again, that might be my own fault playing against on 150 ping. But like I said, overall, the game feels solid. I've been really enjoying it, and I really look forward to its actual release, because that's going to be a new chapter in the game for all of us. We're all going to get a chance to basically learn a new way to play the game on all the maps. Shortly afterwards, we're going to have access to Warzone 2, where I know the majority of you will expect to see me, which is where I'll be. And then we'll get to try out things like the DMZ mode and see if they are worth running, how worth running they are, and what all we can learn, what all we can do, what all kind of levels of fun we can have. But thank you all so much for checking out the video. I really appreciate you. I would love to hear your all's opinions about the game and where it's at and what you would like to see changed, or what you think that they've done exceptionally well. I would say my top 3 favorite things is the gun feel, the overall the gun feel, the overall expansion of the gunsmith system. Even though it is not perfect, it's a nice way to see them having expanded into the way that the gun systems work in the game. And then I would say my 3rd favorite is honestly the invasion mode. I think invasion mode is pretty fun. It's a neat little way of kind of relaxing and shooting some AI, shooting some players. Overall, just it's just a good time. It's just overall a good time. But thank you all again so much for watching the video. I appreciate you. We have streams here every day, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, playing the games, doing things, living the life. And then we have videos every day and shorts every day. So if you want to check out some of those too, I greatly appreciate it. But until next time, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone else, peace.